or if she was nervous, or like vice versa, like neither one of us really kind of, it was just,
I feel like this is something that gets misconstrued.
Okay.
Publicly.
Let's clear it up.
So, no, it's not that you didn't have game. I was 14 years old. I was not allowed to talk to boys.
Okay, yeah, that does make a difference.
That is
14.
the difference.
Yeah.
yeah, no, but yeah. So
But did I think you were cute? Absolutely.
But did you? I also heard you had a no athletes rule.
That is true.
So tell me about
A
that.
very disrespectful comment also on my part. It's so
Okay.
honestly,
Thank you. That's really nice.
Why is that disrespectful? I had very textbook maybe misconceptions.
like kind of frame like movie plots and
Movie
things like
plot ideas of athletes, the jock stereotype.
Okay.
I was a theater nerd, so I think I was protecting my peace and just, I don't know, the teacher, it was an activity one day in class, and she said, write down what you would look for. And it was in capital letters. Like, God is funny. It was in capital letters, and my parents found it way down the road. I want to say, like, maybe 8 years ago in an old box, and they were like, look at this. And I'm like, oh, wow. It's embarrassing. But yeah, I don't know. It was just an activity in class that she had us do. But I definitely did say that. And I think I did think that too. This is another thing that gets misconstrued. People, for some reason, think that in the past I've said that he wasn't my type.
Yeah.
But what I was saying was I didn't think I was his type.
Yeah.
Because this was Mr. Cool.
Yeah.
And so I kind of sold myself short in thinking like, oh, there's no way. He must just like me as a friend. So I won't even say that. I'm glad it didn't.
She left the door.
I'm glad I didn't get friend zoned.
I would have to
She
say.
every time I text her or call, she picked up the phone.
Yeah.
After I was on full court press mode. After that date, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
See, we guys know that y'all in charge.
Yes.
So.
No, you're not.
When I finally realized that was the direction it was going in, I verbalized that to him, that I was confused. Because if there's one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to speak my mind. Yeah.
And look where it got
he
you.
looked at me because he had come to my house for 2 weeks straight at the time, my parents' house.
So that
She thought I
to
just
play.
ran
He
in
said, yeah.
with her brother.
He's like, you think I've been coming over here every night for the past 2 weeks to play video games with your brothers? I was like, oh, it's like that. That makes a lot of sense. I'm glad it all
Those are the
happened.
days. No, for sure. It was a beautiful kind of reconnection at that point.
You know, to be fair, I did try to go find audio and video looking for a segment where she officially said, I apologize or I am sorry. Now, she did say her comments were disrespectful. And you know, the funny thing is, you still have women trying to justify her comments. Any woman that's okay with her justifying her comments and blatantly disrespecting her husband in front of the world, something is seriously wrong with you, and you need to sit down and shut the fuck up. Okay. To me, she didn't officially apologize, but you got people posting videos, and I will say fraudulent videos, saying that she flat out apologized when, from what I've seen and the research I've done, she didn't apologize. Where is the audio of her saying, I officially apologize? But no, she still wants to play into she wants to play into the girl code, because she still didn't really take accountability. She half-assed it. If she was truly sorry, she would have said, hey, I apologize for what I said, and I shouldn't have did that. Because she did disrespect that man on several occasions. And the women that are still trying to defend her comments says a lot about your character. Says a lot about you and how self-centered and selfish you are, and all about yourself. So sit down and shut your ass up and continue to be alone. I don't know who she's affiliated with or talking to behind the scene, but Yeah, probably what happened was people probably told her, look, this is not a good look. You need to address this some kind of way, but at the same time, try to still cater to the feminists out there and all that kind of stuff. Just address it, but without officially apologizing. Because, women still have this thing that if they're wrong, saying they're sorry is like some form of weakness. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And that's just real talk. She really did not officially, from what I see, apologize to that man. And to me, Stephen Curry, he should just cut his losses. Ain't nobody gonna sit up there and embarrass me and talk about, well, I didn't see myself being married with children. I saw myself being this and being that. Okay, well, cool. We can make it a reality then. There's just certain shit you just don't say for everybody to hear you say. And then when everybody got an opinion about it, or should I say, and when people call her out on her bullshit, then here it comes with the, oh, she shouldn't have to apologize, or why is everybody in their business? Because I still remember a couple of years ago when basically Jonathan Owens, and like I said, he was just being tongue in cheek when he was expressing, how he, met Simone Biles and basically married her and all that kind of stuff. And he was being tongue in cheek, saying I think I'm the prize and all that kind of stuff because I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and you had women like coming for that dude. Oh, she should leave him. She should leave him. And see, that's the thing. Whenever the woman is at fault, then we have this conversation. We want to talk around it. We want to sit up here and say, well, you need to understand as no, 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 no. It's so much misandry going around to where it's just disappointingly disturbing, and it's scary at the same time, where you got women that don't want to accept no type of accountability, where they don't want to admit fault at anything. And like I said, I did not hear I'm sorry and I apologize. She did the typical deflect, and still to a certain degree tried to play victim. Oh, why is everybody come? No, people misconstrue. No, we didn't. It wasn't taken out of context. Like I said, could you imagine if listen, if this was the other side of the coin, if Stephen Curry was talking about, I wish I wouldn't have got married, and I wish I didn't have 4 kids and all this kind of stuff, and even though I'm married, I wish I would get more attention, or I love the attention I get from all the women out there. They would be saying he's a narcissist. They would be saying he's arrogant and all this kind of stuff. And for real, a lot of you women are just so one-sided, self-centered, selfish, and silly. For real. Just, triple S. Self-centered, selfish, and silly. Real talk. The fact that it took this long for her to address this, that's problematic right there. But the problem is, you have women that basically condone her type of behavior. For real. And then here's the thing. This is the problem that a lot of men are talking about in the black community. We can't express any disappointment when it pertains to us. If somebody disrespects us, we're at fault. We're wrong. How am I wrong when I'm asking you not to disrespect me? How am I this? How am I that? And like I said, those labels like sassy, you hate your mother, and or you're gay and all that kind of stuff, they only do that to black men. Anything to keep us from having an opinion or even being able to freely think. Anything to try to emasculate us. Because we're not allowed to call anybody out. She wrong for that. And to me, that wasn't no real apology. And I guess I got to be the one to say it. I know I'm going to receive all kind of backlash. That's fine. I'm not worried about none of you bitches. I'm not worried about your, oh, you hate black women. You don't like your mother. You don't like women, period. Listen, that don't work on me. That doesn't work on me. Shaming tactics don't work on me at all. Because I don't value your opinion enough to care about stuff like that. You're not going to muzzle me. You're not going to make me feel bad for asking you to treat me with respect and dignity. But yeah, I didn't officially hear an apology. I'm just keeping it 100. Like I said, it's always a double standard. The man is disrespected, he's just supposed to sit up there and take it. If the woman is disrespected, it's public outcry. And like I said, the fact that you still got some of these low hanging fruit, questionable IQ women who think they smarter than what they really are, basically trying to vilify Stephen Curry and basically trying to vilify the people, the men and women that's calling her out, says a lot about you. But yeah, I didn't hear her apology. Just keep me 100. At the end of the day, probably somebody said this isn't a good look. And if I'm Stephen Curry, I would tell her if she does this again, she gonna be getting sent divorce papers. I'll tell her straight up, don't ever disrespect me in public again. Real talk. Anyway, it's your boy Town. I'm out.